Hello and welcome to my podcast, Up Your Total Glow, your podcast for your body, mind, and soul to support, guide, and empower you to uncover your most glowing, healthiest, and feel good version of you. I am super excited that you are here because if you ask me, there's nothing that looks and feels better. In today's episode, I'm speaking with the absolutely amazing Rachel Lavin. Rachel is an author, body love educator, personal trainer, and health coach. And she is on a mission to create a safe space for all women to feel whole in their own body. Rachel wants to help people who experience negative body image by using her 3 pillars of fitness, which is nourishment for both the mind and the body, movement, and rest. In this very beautiful interview, Rachel shares very authentically with us her own struggles with her weight and restrictive dieting, which lasted over 30 years. If you want to create a healthy, happy, loving relationship with yourself, then this interview is a must listen for you. Please enjoy. Hello and welcome, beautiful Rachel. I am so excited to have you here today and can't wait to jump into this conversation with you. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm very well. And I love how we are able to connect, over continents even. It's summer at your end, it's winter at my end, in the evening at yours, morning at mine. It's stormy here. So hopefully our connection will last. I would love for you to introduce yourself to my audience. So the big question, who are you and what are you doing?
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me tonight for me. Good morning for you. I love that too. It's so interesting. My name is Rachel Lavin, like you introduced. I am an author, a body love educator. I am a personal trainer, a body love coach, and I have been in the fitness and wellness space for over 20 years. But the past 10 years, I've really been focusing on helping women feel whole and safe and comfortable in their bodies, no matter what that looks like.
I love it. And I feel we need so many more of you. This is such an important aspect of health, well-being, and I feel even it gets more and more important with all this social media and more pressure around. So yeah, you, and as I said, I can't wait to dive more into this conversation with you. So I would love to hear, is there a story behind your mission? Have you always been yourself body confident, or have you experienced quite the opposite? And yeah, tell us a little bit about you and your journey.
Absolutely. Well, this journey is very personal for me. I myself have struggled with my body weight, my body image, my self-love for, the first half of my life. It was a daily constant just barrage of negative thoughts and negative emotions, and just that also turned into just having like a negative life, let's be honest. And when I turned 40 years old, I really got tired of this. I was exhausted. I knew there was more to life than this, and I wanted to be happy. And I also just kind of wanted to accept finally that my body was different than other women and other people. And I didn't have to keep forcing myself into this box that I knew really deep in my heart that I was incapable of sustaining.
And I believe we all have different bodies, and I don't know, but I haven't yet met a woman who has been super confident with her body, loved her body for all of her life, which is really sad And maybe they
Mhm.
are around, but I feel no matter what shape, what size, what we look like, we just, yeah, go against our poor bodies and tear them
Mhm.
apart and are not big enough, not thin enough, not this enough, not that enough, which is so sad because our bodies are our temples, our homes in this life. And I guess all that we, or what we could do for them would just be to nurture and nourish. But yeah, for me, this
Mhm.
journey has been anything but smooth sailing. I don't know if you know, but I stumbled into the modeling scene in my early 20s, and this was when, yeah, things for me totally fell apart, and I realized, you know, how little self-confidence and self-love I truly have. And ever since, it has been a journey towards more self-care and more self-love. Will I ever get there? I don't know, but I love the journey because the more I am evolving, the better it feels. And the less I mind all those outside noises of, yes, you have skinny arms, but these are my arms, you know, and if I just pump weights all the time, I get inflamed because it's just not my body. It's, you know, yes, I want to be strong and I can do whatever, you know, I do whatever I can do to stay strong, but I will never look like this perfect, strong person. It's just not my body. And the more I accept that, the happier I feel. And I think this is very much what you just described. So tell us a little bit more about your work, really. How do you help all those women, or maybe you also work with men, I don't know, to feel happier in our bodies? And I, by the way, I totally love that you experienced this yourself and then did not stay stuck in that pain, but empowered yourself and now empowering others. I think that's absolutely fabulous.
Well, thank you so much. And I think a lot of the passion and love that I feel for what I do now is because it is my story and it's so personal. And the last thing that I want is for little girls to grow up and young women to feel this way, and women who are in their 50s like me to continue to feel this way. So how do we break
Really?
these patterns? We have to first, one, accept that there is a problem, right? I think that so many of us just like me, it was like, well, this is my life. I have to think about my body 24 hours a day and I have to do all these things. And that's just not true. So first you have to accept that there is a bigger problem. And two, it's like we have to deal with our traumas that got us here in the first place. And I know for every single person that is a different story, but how we continue to feed that fire is the same. We tell ourselves that we're not good enough. We are always on diets. We're always doing all these over exercising and all these things to either, like you said, get bigger muscles, make our bodies thinner, and so to accept who we are and how we were born is really a huge step. And like you said, I love what you said. It's not about not being healthy, not moving our body, and not nourishing our body. It's accepting that this is what our body looks like, and then we take care of that body the best we can.
Yeah. Instead of wanting to change it, to fix it, to fit into a mold that might not even exist. I feel Barbie is the best example. You know, there is this Barbie doll which would not even be physically able to, you know, walk or do anything because it's so falsely constructed. So I think this is a perfect example of how if we can somehow find it in ourselves, and possibly or most likely with your beautiful help, to start loving ourselves and nourishing and nurturing and really bring the best out in our bodies in us, our life would just be so much fuller and so much happier. So do you believe that anyone can be able to love themselves, no matter the history, the past, the trauma, or how far they are away from being able to accept their bodies?
I absolutely 1000% do, as long as the person that we're talking about is willing to go there. And what I mean by that is, like, you have to deal with all your past trauma. You have to deal with why you feel this way about your body. And you have to take actionable steps every day to change your mindset. It's not an overnight fix, unfortunately. I'm sorry to report that it's going to take some effort and it's going to take some time. You know, I've been in this space for 11 years for myself, for my own journey. And just the other day, I had a very hateful thought about my body. But the good news is that I so quickly can get myself out of that. As before, if I saw my reflection or saw a picture of myself, I mean, my entire day would have been shot. There's no way I could have enjoyed the rest of my day after seeing what I thought was so horrible. But now when those thoughts happen, it's like, nope, your body is beautiful the way it is today. We're okay today, even if it's just, I'm okay right at this moment. Whatever the mantras that I use to get me through those hard times, they work. And I truly believe that we have to start saying these nice things to ourselves and these kind things to ourselves, and say it until you believe it.
Absolutely. I feel this is such an important point that you have mentioned there. The language that we use to speak to ourselves. And often I feel this is very automized or happening in a very unconscious way. So for me, for example, it was for a very long time the case that there were so many harsh words against myself. Like whenever I would do something wrong, just a little thing, I was like, oh, what are you thinking? Like in my head, what are you thinking? And stupid you, and you're so stupid, and nothing ever works. And this was just a normal conversation in my head every day, like 1,000 times, maybe less, maybe more. I don't know. I didn't count, and I wasn't even aware of this. And then when I embarked on this journey and I realized, oh my goodness, you know, what am I saying to myself all the time? Of course, I feel so unwell in my body, in myself, if this is the language I'm using. And like you said, you know, we have to become aware of this as a first step, which for me was a complete revelation, because obviously I wouldn't talk to my best friend or my daughters like I talked to myself. So yeah, super, super empowering. I would love to hear, can you describe a little bit what were the steps that you took on this long journey from not accepting, not loving yourself at all, to, you know, really owning your beauty most of the days? I think, you know, no one is always feeling super happy and super content. This goes with everything. But yeah, can you describe this? Because it's just beautiful, and I think we all want this.
Of course. Well, the first step was I had to start speaking kindly to myself. That was key. And I had to say these things out loud. I had Post-its all over my apartment. I mean, I really had to just change the way I spoke to myself. And then the other thing I needed to do was I had to stop asking other people their opinion about me, whether it was about my body or how I looked, or I mean, of course, we all have these thoughts. And so when I stopped doing that, I realized how much of myself I was giving away, and how much of the reason why I didn't really have any confidence or self-awareness or things like that, because I always was looking outside of myself for those things. So when I stopped doing that, I just became more and more powerful for me. I became more self-loving, more self-confident, more self-aware, more conscious. All those things really started to unfold for me. And I really value that time in my life. It was a time where I purposely was spending time by myself, doing things on my own. I wasn't really dating at that time. I was just focusing on becoming the person that I kind of knew was in there, but I had no idea who she really was.
So beautiful and so empowering. And yeah, for those people in my audience who are watching this, you can really see all this strength, all this beauty, all this confidence just glowing out of you. It's beautiful and very contagious. And so I would love to hear, what does a normal routine in your day look like? How do you, on a daily basis, keep it up, that you really nourish and nurture yourself without looking at the outside for for feeling more confident, or for I don't know. I feel we all at some point try to look for happiness outside of us. Let's buy this car, let's buy this and that, and this will bring us happiness. And when we all know actually it's inside of us, but it's easier said than done. So I'm sure part of your secret lies in your daily routine. So tell me a little bit about this, and then I would love to dive into your amazing book, which, but tell us about your routine first.
Of course. So one of the most valuable lessons I've learned throughout this journey is listening to my body. And so for me, exercise is like my therapy. I feel like I love to move my body. So that is a part of my daily routine. But there are days where if I'm feeling I just don't have the energy for that, or I feel like today needs to just be more of a emotional and a mental rest day, I listen to that instead of, driving through and saying, no, 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 I have to work out, I have to do that. I don't do that to myself anymore. What am I trying to prove, right? I mean, I'm exercising for myself. I'm not exercising for anyone else. So I listen to my body. For me, that is the one thing I've really done my best to get in tune with. My hunger signals, my emotional signals, my rest signals, my sleepiness, my stress, all those things are so important to kind of get to know about yourself. So when I start my day with gratitude, I start my day with having breakfast with my boyfriend, and that is just our routine. That is something we do, and then we go on about our day and we come back together for dinner. And that has been our routine for like 10 years, and I love it.
Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, sounds amazing. And I feel having those anchors in our days are absolutely empowering, and can really do so much more than what we might think. So for me as well, having something set up in the morning that really empower me throughout the day just change everything. And I also love what you said about really being able to listen to your body. It took me a very long time to be able to do this, and still I'm not always able to do it, but it gives yourself so much confidence about who you truly are, and spirals from there into something really, really empowering and big. Okay, before I ramble on, please tell us about your amazing book, The Donut Diaries. Such a cool title. So why did you write the book? Can you tell us a little bit about the book? And yeah, I'm really curious.
Of course. Well, thank you. I love the title too. I wrote my book because I wanted a way to get my message to women all over the world that you are not alone. We are not going through this alone. We are in this together. However, we got here may be different, but listen, we're in this together and we're here to lift each other up. So I wanted my book to be more like I'm sitting across from you and telling you my story, and we're crying and we're laughing, and we both leave the conversation feeling inspired. And I feel like I did a pretty good job of that because it doesn't come across like I'm definitely not selling a workout. I'm not selling a meal plan. I'm not selling any kind of way of life. I'm just sharing my story with you in hopes that you, like I mentioned, don't feel alone anymore.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely beautiful. And I can only recommend this beautiful read. I haven't read all of it, but what I have read is beautifully written and so empowering. And I totally agree that it's all about, you know, being in this together. And like I said in the beginning, I truly believe we actually are. Like I said, I've no one met yet who has always been super confident with their bodies, even if they appear to be. When you ask them a little bit further or dig a little bit deeper, they haven't, you know, it's just a mask they are putting on. I would love to hear. So I know that you've been dieting for a long time. You've said that. And this is another topic, and obviously very closely related to the body image, that really bothers me, because I feel that dieting, excuse my language here, fucks everything up. Because the more we diet, and obviously dieting doesn't work, so that's the whole problem, the more we feel, okay, we are not worth this. This is not working for us. We are a failure. The less self-confident we are. And like, it's this whole spiral. And hopefully we get ourselves out of this sooner than later, because this can actually, yeah, go deep, and we might even develop disordered forms of eating and definitely not having the whole body image or the whole feeling good within ourselves and living a happy, healthy life. So how did you get out of this? For how long did you diet, and what does your diet look like now? Not diet, your beautiful, healthy nutrition, or nurturing yourself with fruits. That's a better way to describe it.
That's a lot. But so quickly, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. So, you know, all this outrage about Ozempic, like I'm sorry, people, but it's just being repackaged as something like back in my day, it was Dexatrim or it was Slim Fat. I mean, there's always been something that shrinks your appetite or suppresses your appetite, whether it be a shake or a drug or a pill. I mean, it's been around. So, you know, I understand the outrage, but it's nothing new to me, I guess I should say. So every fad diet that came along, I tried it, but I've also just restricted myself to the point where I would not eat anything all day, or try to not eat anything all day. And then by the time I would get home from school or work, like I would make myself across the kitchen and just like be shoveling food in my mouth because I was so hungry and had headaches and sleepy and angry and just, so I had to really, when I decided I was no longer, because my big thing was restriction. I restricted fat, I restricted sugar, I restricted pasta, I restricted everything. I don't, you know, so when I decided I was no longer going to put myself in a restrictive diet, I had to really just kind of let my body do what it needed to do. I mean, there was days where I felt nauseous. There were days where I wasn't hungry at all. There were days where I couldn't stop eating. I mean, like you said, a lifetime of dieting does nothing but fuck up your body, because your body has no idea what's going on. It just knows that it needs nutrients, and food is how we get that. So if you're depriving your body of those things, that's where sickness comes. That's where stress comes. That's where skin and hair and just bodily functions. That's when things go awry. So I decided that I was no longer going to diet. I was just going to eat food. And, you know, for me, I had to kind of figure out what that meant. I am a person that I like to have breakfast, I like to have lunch, and I like to have dinner and maybe a snack or two in between. But I definitely know I am not built for a vegan diet. I need my meat. It just makes me feel good. So I tend to eat meat at dinner, you know, high dense carbs like veggies, salads. I love my salads for lunch, but sometimes I'll go out to lunch with my girlfriend. So I don't live by a strict diet anymore, other than I make sure I have protein in every meal, and I eat a rainbow of foods. I don't restrict anything anymore.
I love that, because I feel this is exactly it, that most people, and I was one of them, it's all about restriction, you know, not allowing ourselves to actually do what our bodies tell us. Like in that we can already feel, you know, the not loving towards ourselves. Okay, we can't listen to our bodies, we can't trust them, and you know, being hungry is something that is almost not okay. So, you know, it's a very weird concept, and definitely, yeah, coming from the outside and from all this marketing, and yeah, I don't know, but it's really crazy. And I love how you said and how you were able to just go beyond this whole restriction, because obviously it doesn't serve us at all. It really messes with our physical and our psychological selves and doesn't bring the best out in us. And I also love how you described the way you're eating now as very balanced, as very varied, and as very individualized, that you are. It sounds to me like you're eating whole foods and really eating those foods that feel good in your body. Like you said, you love eating meat. For example, a vegan diet wouldn't work for you. And I love that, because again, I feel we are all super, super different. And it's important that we maybe experiment in a positive way with that, you know, like, okay, does this feel right to me? Or no, it doesn't. Or one day I might feel hungrier and the other day I don't. And instead of just going straight away to, oh, what's happening now? I'm not allowed to do this, and this feels like horrendous. Just really trusting. And this is a process, you know, for me, that was a process too. And I'm not a strict vegan. I love eating mostly plant foods. That just feels really good in my body. But I also know that I do need the heaviness of animal product here and there. For me, this comes in different ways, but it doesn't matter, because again, we are also different. And I really feel the key is to be able to listen to our bodies. So this is definitely something that you help your clients with, because doing, you know, talking about it, yeah, okay, makes sense. But doing this is a different situation. So this is one of the ways that you empower your clients with, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I love what you said. We're all different. We all want to eat differently, even though we've been taught that we have to live on chicken breast and broccoli. And that's just not true.
No.
And that sounds like torture.
Yeah.
So instead, give yourself, and I love this rainbow because it's so true. There's so many colorful, nutritious, just yummy tasting foods out there that we can eat differently every day if we want to. Some people just do better. I want to have the same thing every day. Okay, great. Sure. As long as you're feeling energized and you're feeling that you're not hungry and you're walking away and you're not snapping at people, you eat whatever you want. But for me, I love to have variety. I love to have fresh fruit, summer fruit, pumpkin stuff in the fall. Like, I mean, that's just who I am.
Yeah. And feeling fully satisfied and also having pleasure with food, because after all, we are human beings who are born to experience pleasure. And I feel if we make this just like a kind of, I don't know, something that someone told us we have to do, but there's no pleasure in it, that won't work anyway. Oh,
Right.
I totally love your work. Could you maybe give my audience 3 golden nuggets that kind of sum up how they can empower themselves? You already mentioned a lot, but just in short phrases or sentences.
Absolutely. The one thing I would love to tell your listeners is that if you're eating something that you hate, please give yourself permission to stop eating it. There are so many other delicious, healthy foods out there than oatmeal or whatever it is you're eating. So if you're hating your diet, you're hating the things you're eating, give yourself permission to stop immediately. That's number 1. Number 2, I want you all to take a piece of paper, a Post-it, or something that you can look at every day on your phone, write yourself a message. Say something nice to yourself and say it out loud for 1 week straight and see how you feel after that week. And the third thing I would tell your listeners is that if this is something that you would like to do, and what I mean by that is stop dieting, stop binging, stop restricting, then give yourself permission to do that, but also please trust the process, and please trust that this is going to take some time to figure out, and be patient with yourself.
Beautiful. I love all 3 of them. So very empowering. And in terms of trusting the process, like you and I, we are working in this field. We've been working in this field for a very long time. And we are, at least I am, still in the process. Like I would, perfection doesn't exist anyway, but there are days where, things still really feel awkward and I might not be in tune with my hunger cues and I might be overeating, and that's okay. I trust, okay, that this is where my body finds balance again. And I think this is the key. I have absolutely loved this conversation. You are such a goddess. This is truly the word that comes to my mind. And I can highly recommend to anyone to just work with you if they would love to empower themselves with living a healthier, more balanced, more self-loving way. How can they find you?
Thank you so much for those kind words, by the way. I am on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all under Rachel Lavin Wellness. My website is also Rachel Lavin Wellness, and my book is available on Amazon.
And I believe you've got a program coming up in July. Is that true? Do you want to tell us a little bit about this program?
What I'm doing is I am creating an 8-week program, whether it's virtual or in person. I'm happy to do both, but I'm really trying to actually educate fitness professionals like you and I, who are still kind of stuck in the old ways and are still trying to get people through the door with the promise of weight loss. And I think it's really long overdue that we as fitness professionals treat clients differently. Weight loss does not have to be the end goal. But I'm also creating a 8-week program for everyday people that just want to love their body and want to just stop all this madness. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it.
I totally love what you said just there, because I know that so many clients come to me for weight loss, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but like you said, I feel it's all about the self-love and finding the balance in your body and in your mind again. And what happens then is magic, because then once you find this balance and once you really nourish your body, your mind, you've got this routine that really helps you to ground, to rebalance. If your body wants and needs to lose weight, it will come off as a side effect. If your body needs and wants to put on weight, that will happen as a side effect. And this is so much more empowering. And and I'm sure it's absolutely the same for you, but I've got so many clients who like, what happened? I've been trying to lose that weight for years, and it just wasn't possible. I put on more weight, and now I'm eating more than I ever have. I don't even feel like I'm dieting, because they don't, but they're still using that word. And I've lost that weight, or I've put on that weight. I feel great. I've got all of a sudden energy, and that's what it is about. So thank you for bringing that up. I think this is really, really empowering. If we focus on loving ourselves again, treating ourselves kindly, then the magic will happen. And I know, easier said than done. And this is why your work is so helpful and so absolutely amazing. So please reach out to this goddess of a woman. She knows what she is doing. She's been through it herself. Is there anything that we haven't touched upon today that is really important to you that you would still, mention to my audience?
I would. I never want to leave one of these amazing interactions with beautiful women like you without letting their audience or the women around us know, I promise you are not alone. So please stop feeling like you have to deal with this all by yourself. There are many women like me, like Ruth out there. The community is getting much larger, and I am so happy to say that. So please, whatever state you live in, whatever country you live in, you can find someone who's doing this work.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Rachel. I have loved this conversation. I totally and utterly love your work, love you, love what you're all about. We need more of you. Absolutely. Thank you for making our world a healthier, happier place. So grateful for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love it.
If you would like to learn more about the amazing Rachel, then make sure you check out all her details in the show notes. Also, grab her amazing book, The Donut Diaries. I know the title says it all. This is a really fun, easy, but so empowering read where Rachel very authentically shares her story from self-loathing to falling in love with her amazing self. Rachel also offers an 8-week program. One version is for fitness professionals and one for everyday women. So please check this out as well. If you love and enjoy my podcast, then please do me a favor and help me spread health and glow everywhere. You can do so by liking, subscribing to, sharing, and reviewing my podcast. This is the only way that others can find this content too. I know that you are absolutely amazing. and that you are meant to live your best life in your absolutely wonderful body, your brilliant mind, and your boundless soul. So what are you still waiting for? Please make sure you do. I'm your biggest cheerleader. Keep glowing. I believe in you.